Cheers to episode 116.
Cheers.
116.
Truly, Grant. Alcoholic.
Truly margarita-style strawberry hibiscus with other natural flavors.
Nice.
Water out of a mason jar that Grant bought and then left.
Water.
I left that. Give it
Do you
back.
think I own one of these?
Give it back. You like those, though. You drank out of those immediately and didn't even
They
ask.
do hold a lot of water. They're nice. I've never used it for anything but water, though.
Stole all my frozen berries and took all my mason jars.
Okay, on to the show.
First fight that Alex and I ever had was about frozen blueberries.
Yep.
First
That's a long
roommate
story.
argument.
We're not going into that.
What is today? Today is Tuesday, April 11th, 2023. It's 8:37 p.m. Everybody wants Taco Bell. Welcome to the number one sports podcast in the state of Michigan,
The world.
the world, and the Pistons finally got rid of Dwayne Casey. Well, no, they didn't. As their coach. He's now in the front office. So we have that to talk about today. What else do we have to talk about today? A little Masters recap. You know, the biggest golf tournament in the entire world happened. It was a dud again, like Evan kind of predicted.
What's a dud?
I'll save it. Pistons, we're mainly talking about them because of the coaching search that's about to happen, or it is happening right now. We have the Lions. That news has just been compounding. It was just going to be talk about draft needs, and now we got a listener text about it, and we have Jeff Okudah got traded, which is a huge day for this podcast. And then lastly, college basketball, full swing. The portal, Alex, that's mean what you just wrote. The portal offseason is now like rivaling NBA free agency with there is no offseason. We sleep in May. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Before we dive into all of that, you can follow this podcast at Shot of MS on any social media platform. Please rate and review the podcast if you have not yet. Subscribe, like it, tell a friend, leave a review. If you haven't left a review for the show, please do so. Our phone number, I'd never remember it. It's 984-444. Stand by for the last four digits.
Pick up the phone and start dialing.
We did have two texts, no voicemails this week. Voicemails are the best if you're a brave person and want to do that. It is, God, I tweeted a lot today. Where'd it go? 984-444-9286. I will memorize that one of these days, but not yet. Okay. With all that being said, let's kick it to Alex for your week in review.
Week in review. Hit golf balls for the first time. Got the Masters itch.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Not bad. Compared to last year when I got the first itch, I hit it much better this year, so that's a good sign. So I did that. And then other than that, I went to Tecumseh for the weekend, Easter weekend.
He is risen.
Yeah. So Friday went to Muck's Pub with the boys in town and Paige. Sorry. Paige
Boys are back in town.
Good time. Celebrated a birthday. Sort of. A week later. That was a good time. And then Saturday, went to listener Cody with a K's new home. He's a homeowner now. Saw his house. Very nice. Awesome. I helped him on clean off his back deck a little bit. Put the TV out in the back. Got all buckled in to watch the Masters. And then rain delay. Devastating. And then it was canceled for the rest of the day. So didn't matter anyways for me because I had to go to my grandparents' anniversary dinner / my grandma's birthday dinner. Now, Grant, you'd love to know, where did we go? Well, we went to Ruth Chris Steakhouse in Ann Arbor.
Don't touch the plates there.
No, and the guy made about 4 jokes about it. 500 degrees. You cannot sue. You will be liable.
Wow.
Guy was kind of a dork. But
I'll never forget when your dad took me up to the Jim Harbaugh room.
We actually had a private room, so we were upstairs.
Was it the Michigan room?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Hmm.
The dude was telling us about Michigan O linemen going in there, and they all order like chicken tenders.
What?
Yeah.
No wonder they can't block in the playoffs.
Anyways, so that was phenomenal. Steak, phenomenal. They just have great steaks. If you're looking for a good one, go there.
Medium rare.
Yeah, I'm a medium rare, but more on the rare side.
They just salt the hell out of those, don't they?
I mean, it just cuts like butter. It's impressive.
I just remember it being really salty.
Who doesn't? I mean, I don't.
No, I mean it's good, but I remember it being salty.
It might have been salty. I don't know. The appetizers are phenomenal, though.
Why did I go?
Seafood Tower. It was my birthday.
Is your birthday?
Yeah.
Your birthday's coming up, isn't it?
It
April.
is.
You're an April birthday.
I am.
I think I've told you it's like the least memorable month too, which probably didn't feel great in the moment.
You've told me happy birthday twice in the last 8 years, so I'm not really looking forward to it.
I just wait till someone sends it in a text or like Snapchat, shows me your little birthday cake emoji, and I say,
last year I got 3 happy birthdays total.
No, that's not true. There's no way that's true.
Yeah, I just have a
I know one of them.
Birthday.
I know one for sure. Says happy birthday on Facebook to
Actually,
everybody.
your mom has said happy birthday more to me in the last 10 years than you have, if Facebook posts count.
Someone, yeah, those definitely count. That's honestly the most public way you can do it.
Yeah. No, your mom's locked in. She's always
Someone's got to tell you happy birthday out of our family. I text you every year. If you try to act like I don't, that's a lie. Now, I don't know the night, like, I think I'm going to go on a limb and put myself out there and say your birthday is April 19th.
Good job.
Is that right?
Yeah. I would hope you would know at this point, Grant. We've been friends for 20 plus years at this point.
April 18th, I will have no clue what's happening the next day. I will wake up the 19th. I will check my phone. I will see a text in the 517 crew that says like, happy birthday, bro. And be like, oh, it's Alex's birthday. And then I will respond accordingly.
Listen, man, 26th birthday. I don't even care about my own birthday anymore. So
that's my thing. Birthdays are
like, what am I going to do that's special?
Everyone has one.
It's a Wednesday. It's nothing. Nothing's going to be different. I'm going to go to work. I'm going to come home. That's it.
You have the ability where you live to do some cool things if you wanted to.
With who?
Yeah, with yourself. We could go see a movie. You could go to the casino and just gamble, sit down on a roulette table and test your luck.
Could on a Wednesday, but I got to go to work the next day.
No.
Yes.
Okay.
So that. How do we get to that? Dinner Saturday.
Yes.
And then Sunday.
You say your grandma's birthday?
Grandma's birthday and their anniversary.
Happy birthday, Grandma, and happy anniversary.
Yes. And then Sunday, my dad got the golf itch. So I went and hit balls with him.
Shanks?
Yep, Shanks. Grass was open, which is good. Because I didn't want to hit off mats.
Mats are fake.
And continue to strike it well. So we have golf league next Monday. We'll see how we do.
The Dad Duo's back for another year.
We're trying to go back to back and 3-time champs.
If you did win, would it be 3 championships in how many years?
It'd be 3 and 7.
Not a dynasty quite yet.
3 and 7's not enough.
3 and 5's a dynasty. 4 and 8 would be a dynasty.
All right, gonna have to win 2 more. I don't know if I think I'll still be around for next year, but we'll see.
I probably would say 3 and 6 is a dynasty too. Now that I think about it more, but 3 and 5 is for sure a dynasty in any sport.
Close, then. We're right there. What'd you do this week?
My review.
Go to the movies alone?
No, I did not go to the movies to see either
I might do that
movie.
this week.
There is an Imagine 5 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
Question about Imagine. I was on the ticket website. It shows you how serious I was. I was thinking about it. I wanted to look for tickets. And there's like standard format and then like an extra format. As someone who's an expert, what do those differences mean? Is it like 4K versus...
Standard format's all you need, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like
Have
the
you ever
Mario
been to the movies
movie-
alone?
No.
I can see why you're stressed.
No, I'm not stressed about going alone. I actually think it would be enjoyable. I'm more stressed about just curious about the different formats because it was like 4 different
Mario
formats.
might have like a 3D thing
They do.
going on.
I feel
That's
like that
why
could-
there's multiple formats, probably.
I think Super Mario Bros. 3D could be a move. That feels like a movie. that
No,
you'd want
Evan
to
said
see.
on this show that we do not watch movies in 3D anymore in our lives.
Oh,
Evan
let me
said he
backtrack for a
didn't know it
second.
was
I
going
just
on for an
joined in on the
hour.
conversation. But didn't we
Yeah.
have an argument of saying how the Super Mario's movie would be terrible like 2 years ago?
Yeah, except Grant. So Grant, worst movie taste in the world, thinks that Super Mario Bros. Is going to be the best movie of 2023.
I actually
It's
remember
hit
the
$380 million the first weekend.
Yeah.
So
Like
it's good.
$400 million the first weekend.
You know
Is
why
that
it's going to be
good?
great?
Yes.
It's because it was one of the classic movies where like the critics had it at a 50% and then the popular was 100.
Yes.
So like that's how you know it's a good movie because that's a great ratio. Because I don't care what the snobby critics think.
No.
That I'm not going to insult them anymore. I don't care what they think. I care what the public thinks about a movie. And I remember this conversation because we were talking about like I was crapping on Avengers or Marvel, and then I saw the trailer like 2 years ago, like Evan said, and I sent it in the group
We
chat.
thought you were trolling.
Alex
and
was
you
like,
were
"There's
serious.
no way you like this movie. That's a joke." And I was like, "No, I love because that's my childhood of growing up at my grandma's house playing Super Nintendo, and I love the Mario universe." So when this came out, and I saw you look at the actors that are and actresses that are voice acting, it's a who's who. I mean, Jack Black is Bowser. That is going to be good stuff.
I do want to see it to see what the hype's about, but
Chris Pratt.
I'm
and
not
then,
sure I'm going to go to the movies alone to see it.
Charlie Day is Luigi, which is the perfect fit for Luigi. I watched the trailer. I watched the newest trailer.
I
I'm ready
watched
to
the
go.
trailer. It looked all right.
Dude, when they fall onto Rainbow Road and then you realize, like the nostalgia. of
Okay,
it.
that's enough, Grant. There's 3 movies out right now that people are wanting to see.
What's the third?
Well, there's the Michael Jordan movie, shoe movie.
What's the
And
third
then
one?
the third is popular amongst others, Dungeon and Dragons.
Oh. That's
My
kind of like
roommate
Super
saw it.
Mario Brothers.
He said it was good. It had nothing to do with the actual game.
I think the Pardon My Take episodes are enough for me. That's like my little dip into that world.
I have no clue what D&D is, how you play. I know nothing other than a quick blurb from Stranger Things and them playing it.
I think going to
Oh.
that movie, just
Which one?
the Dungeons and Dragons, just gummied up, would be awesome. Would be awesome.
Probably would be.
I think you could feel that way about Super Mario Brothers too.
That would be also be fun.
Super Mario Bros. I'm trying to stay locked in for all like the little Easter eggs.
Evan's
they
just
throw
all
in
in
throughout.
on gummying up for the movies. I think
Go up
that's
to
just
the
a new
movie, like
thing.
funny movies that you don't care about that much.
Cocaine Bear.
Yes.
Yeah,
Going
that
to
could be
see that
scary
scary
though.
movie Megan with the doll starts dancing. and trying to
Not
kill
funny.
everyone. That
Very
would be
scary.
funny. It's not
I don't like
scary,
scary
Alex.
movies.
It's a doll.
A doll that kills people, Evan.
So realistic. Scary movies are hilarious
Yes.
Oh,
when
Grant.
if they're dumb.
I remember there's like 12 of us in your basement when we were in high school, and you like covered your eyes with a blanket watching Paranormal Activity. I thought you were gonna
No,
cry.
I would
And do you
make
think it's
everyone
funny?
watch those movies. Yes,
Huh?
Yeah,
Paranormal
but then-
Activity
and then you
now
would
is
cry.
hilarious.
Don't act like you're some tough guy.
If anyone says they watch Paranormal Activity, like the first one, and think it's
Now,
scary,
sure.
now is
Because there's a lot
joke.
of movies that are scary now.
Yeah, movies that are scary are like actual thrillers that could happen in real life. Like anything that gets out of the realm of could happen in real life is a joke. My other points that I wrote down for my weekend recap is 1, my yearly tradition, winter is over. I'm declaring it dead. There will be no more instances of winter.
75 degrees today.
Grant.
It's over, Evan. It's going
Yeah,
to get
remember
down.
what you did last year? You totally us. Make sure you bleep that one.
What was there?
You
One more
screwed
storm?
us over bad. You said winter's over, and I think we got 6 inches like 2 days later.
So that already happened, at least here. Like where it was warm, and then we had a huge snowstorm. It's
We're
done.
hitting a cold front like next week.
We are Yes, but like it'll dip back down to the 50s, but we're not getting any more
Weatherman
big
Grant
inches of
knows
snow. Yeah, tomorrow.
Weatherman Grant doesn't know shit.
The next 2 days in Minnesota are 80 plus degrees, all sunshine, and then we dip into the 50s after a rainstorm, and then we're just gonna slowly creep back up for summer.
Just like us.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, so winter's
Got too
dead.
hot too fast.
It's over.
46 for opening night of Golf League, and every day outside of that day is 51 or 58 or higher. 46 for Golf League.
That is cold.
Wear your winter
Evan's
gear,
looking for
Evan.
something. Oh, he got it. Other take I had, based on the meals I've been eating, I wanted to give some love to Greek food, the whole cuisine in general. We're talking olives. We're talking
gyros.
feta cheese.
Gyro.
Some chicken shawarma. Yeah, that blend of food. There's a take for you.
Great.
Greek food is better than Italian food, and it's not close in my mind.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I don't. What, you went to Olga's once and you think it's better than everything?
At Olive Garden, you're like, yeah,
Olga's is sneaky, not sneaky. It's just not that good. It's okay.
Olga's is poopy.
I will say though, if you get
what's the authentic Italian? What's that name?
Olive Garden,
Carrabba's Italian Grill.
Max and
Brandon
Ernest.
had that once in Indianapolis and was like, eh.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
average.
not a big pasta dishes guy.
Yeah, no, you don't like carbs. We got it.
No, I do. I just not a big pasta
You
dish
shame
guy.
people for eating bread.
That's not true. Funny story about bread coming up later in this rundown. But I don't expect you guys to agree with me because I know that's a crazy take in most people's minds. I just think Italian food is supremely overrated, and I would take Greek food over it any day of the week.
I just like all food.
You muted yourself, Alex.
Oh,
He's so flustered by that.
I just like all food, so I don't think we need to compare. Greek food's great. Every
You don't
time
like
we
all-
have
you
a
don't like
work
all
event,
foods.
every time we have a work event, that's what we get. So,
You get
It's
Greek
good.
food every time.
yeah.
The only downside of Greek food is baklava is trash. So that is not great for the argument.
I like baklava.
That's disgusting, dude.
Dude, what do you mean? It's like honey and cracker.
It's just so flaky and falls everywhere.
Exactly. It's fantastic.
Speaking of bread, Alex, crazy lead in here is McDonald's tried to slow my dirty bulk.
Mhm.
I go to McDonald's,
Burger with
get-
no bread?
I get a spicy chicken sandwich deluxe, no tomato, and can confirm after thinking back, I did click just no tomato. You can imagine my surprise when I
No
opened
bun.
the box and there was no bun on my spicy chicken sandwich. It was just a chicken
That's funny.
thing with some spicy
Should have went to
sauce
Raising Cane's.
and
Oh.
the most depressing looking lettuce you've ever seen in your entire life. On top of that, I ate it with a fork and knife. It was gross because the chicken didn't also seem very well cooked. Thankfully, I had a cheeseburger as well and some fries. But stunning. I've never opened the box and just been like, there's no bun. And then my only last thing is I've been obsessed with the show Succession after their third episode of season 4. Blew me away.
Oh,
Top
do not read
5.
the LA Times.
What did they say? Oh, they
Supposedly-
spoiled it, didn't they?
Yeah. Supposedly they released the spoiler for like the last episode like 2 days before.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they did something with this episode that I will not say spoiler wise. That's kind of absurd to do. But
Is this the last episode of all time?
no, there's still 7
this is
left.
like
That's
right
why it
in
was
the middle,
crazy.
and they dropped the absolute ginormous
Bomb.
nuke bomb on the place.
And they did it in such a unique way that I've never seen done before in a TV show. And it's top 5 episode of TV I've ever seen in my life. I need to watch it again just to really take in the moments. Yeah. It's good stuff. It makes me want to become CPR
I mean, we can't really
certified.
talk about it, but
Mm-hmm.
Can't really talk about it because I like it so much I will not spoil it for other people. Other shows that aren't that good, I would just spoil. Like season 3 of Outer Banks. Like if someone asked me like what happened, I would just tell them what happened because it's not that good.
true.
That's pretty much my week. Evan, how is your week or what's happened in your life since Monday, April 3rd?
April 3rd, last
National
Monday.
championship.
National championship night.
Start of the year, 4-0, JV baseball. Traveled to Coldwater and Napoleon. Easy dubs there.
Shop those schools.
Yeah, I mean, this weekend I hung out with Alex a lot.
Too much, probably.
Yeah, some are saying.
Not enough.
Oh.
No
I had to
one's
leave
saying that.
before all the fun began.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Friday had local watering hole. That was a lot of fun. Saturday, Masters turned into a little golf. Since it got canceled, the Masters got delayed or whatever you want to call it. 15 minutes into the broadcast, we all decided to go golf. That was a fun time. 6 of us all playing the same hole together.
Where was that at?
Raisin Valley. Nobody was behind us.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
Yep. That turned into back where we just did trivia all night after golf. We split up into teams, trivia up on the big screen. It started because we were playing Jeopardy, and then we were competing against that, and then it just turned into trivia, and so that was good. And then Sunday had just a quality Easter, quality time, watch a little Masters. I did watch an inning of Tigers baseball on Sunday.
Still haven't seen a pitch.
My dad went to the game.
My dad went to the game.
Did they go together with the houses?
Yeah, on Saturday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they saw the 16-2 game, I think.
Yes, I remember. Yeah. I was like, they're free tickets, so I guess you can't turn it down. But I would not be trying to get to that ballpark before June or ever really for the summer.
It was a nice day.
I think they said it was cold.
It was chilly,
the sun
but it was
out,
sunny.
but it was a little chilly. It was a 4
I
o'clock
guess,
start, so it got cold.
No surprise to anyone, but the report I got was that Mr. Illich has not been shrinking the drink cost despite the team's play, because I think they ordered 4 drinks and it was like $64 total, and that's just quite a lot to spend at Comerica Park to watch that product. But in this flip-flop, you kind of have to drink that much to somewhat enjoy what you're watching.
Pre-game.
Also true.
Or pre-game.
Also true. Other than that, busy week, long days, just ready for the weekend.
Hell yeah. Well, it's
Buddy,
only
it's
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday's the worst day of the week.
You got
By
big
far.
plans already, Evan, this weekend.
No, I don't. I have a doubleheader on Saturday, and then after that, I'm probably seeing how many 12-ounce cans I can finish.
12-ounce curls. I like to think that Evan starts his day.
Already been a long week. It's only Tuesday. I'm going to
Destroy Taco Bell when you leave this podcast.
I will get Taco Bell after I leave this place. I just
so
want
will
to. Tomorrow
knows me.
rough days ahead, but we'll get past them.
I just picture Evan going to work every day listening to Weekend by Brantley Gilbert in his car, just like rocking out, like cheers to the weekend, baby. Just everyone will listen to that and then picture Evan going to
Saturday
work.
morning, I was so happy. Did not like getting 4.5 hours of sleep, but I was so happy. Saturday morning, I had to work, and so I got to pick the music. Instantly put on Nickelback radio. Yes, got to listen to Chad Kroeger just jam out to me for 3 hours. It was a wonderful time.
It does sound nice. You can't go wrong with a little chat.
Nope.
You could. You
No,
can't.
never.
It's hard.
August, Alex.
Funeral.
I'll see you there in Pine Knob.
I honestly think even Funeral kind of plays.
Pine Knob, we're going to Nickelback.
Yes.
That's going to be a scene.
I mean, Evan, that's like 25 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You guys should try to go to Pine Knob as much as you can in the summer. When I went twice last summer. It was incredible. And I was thinking, like, why didn't we go there as friends more often? Probably because we lived farther away. But now that you have Alex's home base, you should go there as much as possible. It is a scene. Okay. The Masters. But it's a great golf tournament.
Yeah,
like Alex mentioned, I got the golf itch. Tale as old as time. You sit there. I bought golf shoes. I started watching golf tutorial videos. I'm ready to rock. Problem is, I don't have any clubs. I don't have any clubs here. So I got, I think, the newer version of the ones I used to always borrow from Alex with the twist dial on the Pumas. A lot of people think they're kind of older generation thinks they're white, and then like around the laces, there's no laces, but around that area it's gray.
They're the same as mine, but like reverse.
Yeah.
Mine are gray with white on the lace part.
Puma
That's
Men's
right.
Ignite.
Yeah. They're expensive, so no more golf purchases from me when it comes to like new fancy balls or anything. But they're gonna be like
I think you made a
lifelong
great
pair.
decision to get spikes.
Or the PWR adapts.
Yeah, that's what I have.
I think they're the PWR
Power
adapts
adapt cage
with the
disc.
spin. The problems I was trying to find the ones that you have, Alex, are on sale right now because they're the lesser version, and I like those, but I couldn't find any in 10.5, so I had
You're
to
talking
go
my old spikeless ones.
Yes, that's also why they're cheaper. Yeah,
yeah,
the
I don't
spike
wear
lists are
those.
like $100 difference, and then I was like thinking like I
That's
used to
why.
slip in those a little bit, and I'm gonna go spikes. If I'm gonna make a purchase into golf, I'm going spikes.
In fact, I just
Oh.
respiked my shoes.
Oh, I see. The
You have to do that?
spiked ones.
Yeah, your spikes will wear out, Grant, and you'll have to put on new ones.
Well, that's unfortunate because putting on new golf grips. I hope it's easier than that because putting on new golf grips worked me into a sweat.
You do.
And I put them on. I put 2 of them on wrong.
2 holes.
Oh, that seems super easy.
That's it. Took me 10 minutes.
Sometimes I forget that my 8-iron doesn't have any golf tape on it, and somehow the grip still went on and is stuck on there.
Hell yeah.
Or no,
I can't
it had
believe
no,
you regripped your clubs on your own. That was wild.
It's crazy. They're not super lined up, as you can imagine. Anyways, for the tournament itself, like I hinted at, another year, another underwhelming back 9 at Augusta. I would say there was a drama on the front 9, and then you kind of think something.
Speak for yourself, dude. I loved the back 9 that Jordan Spieth put on.
That was 3 hours earlier.
Yeah, that was
I
done.
Did fall asleep about hole 14 of the
Well,
leaders.
no wonder you were like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. Because once he got through Amen Corner, it was bleh. Because like you thought maybe he makes a
Brooks'
mistake.
fault.
Yeah,
It was actually Patrick Cantley's fault.
Patrick Cantley playing as
Slow
slow
golfer.
as a 6-year-old golfing for the first time.
don't be a Cantlay in your group.
I like Patrick, though. Good guy.
What did you guys think about Rahm winning? Were you happy to see him win? Were you mad to see him win?
I didn't want Brooks to win. Obviously, Evan had different motivations watching this.
Yeah.
For the pool?
I, at this point,
Yeah.
didn't. But crazy enough, hole 12 of Sunday, I was in like 12th or 15th the whole time. I looked at the live board, and I was in 4th. And I was like, oh, my God. I've come all the way back just to watch all my guys like double bogey the next 2 holes. So right back down to 8th. So I didn't have much rooting interest, and I didn't want a live guy to win. So I wanted Rahm to beat Brooks in that scenario. I wanted Jordan Spieth to win, but that was a long shot, obviously.
I don't really care if a live guy wins. I don't think it's really hurts anything. They just understand that it's not the leagues that make up golf, it's the players.
It has
Like,
changed my perspective watching
It
this.
doesn't really matter. Oh, you play for the live. Okay, you better your family. You change jobs. You get more money up front. It's what the PGA should have been doing. Is really they're just the scumbags who held in money. Because as soon as all the pros left for the live, they increased the purses for all the tournaments. Or like, what's taking so long to do this?
Well,
So
they
it
had
just
a
realizes
monopoly, so
that
they
you
didn't
have
to.
correct. So you have like superior talent, and you want to see a superior talent at the top majors. Like I don't care who plays in this week Heritage Classic down in Hilton Head. How many holes are you going to watch at this?
A lot of big
0.
names.
How many holes are you going to watch, Alex?
I'll probably watch a good amount on Sunday, and that's about it.
Okay, my point exactly.
If Jordan's in the mix defending his championship last year, then yeah, I'll be watching.
I'll be watching NBA playoffs for sure.
I just want top talented guys competing at the top level. John Rahm's
Now,
one of the best
Evan-
golfers right now, so like you can't
Dog.
argue like, oh, I don't want John Rahm. I think he's a great guy. I don't have any problem with him. Everyone's like, oh, he's too emotional. He gets mad. He's too upset. He's too mean. Like all I hear is like good things. Like it's okay to show emotion after you hit a bad shot.
He was a little nutty in the beginning of his career, like where he would really throw
Every
tantrums.
Spaniard was look at Sergio.
But he has calmed down significantly, and Sergio's a prick, Evan, so I don't like Sergio whatsoever.
Well, he's a master champion, so you have to respect him.
I don't have to.
You guys know John Rahm worked with a guy who was a mental coach for bomb diffusers,
See how
and that's how he started to calm
I
down.
like John Rahm, Evan. Like, I have no problem with him.
I used to be on your side, Evan, or maybe I don't know if you said it, but I used to dislike him because of that.
I
but
used
then
to just think he was a hothead.
He went on foreplay and seemed like one of the nicest guys that's been on there. I was like, oh, this guy's normal. He
was cracking jokes at a ceremony.
The Zach Ertz story was hilarious.
Yeah,
that group text is wild. I did not expect that group text to exist. It's like J.J. Watt, Zach Ertz, and John Rahm just casually texting before.
In defense, John Rahm played golf at Arizona State, so like he has like the Arizona ties.
That makes sense.
Bill's brother was his golf coach.
Correct.
Most surprising result from the weekend, was it Mickelson's
Phil
good performance, or was it how bad Rory was?
Oh, a little spin there.
Yeah,
Rory did struggle, but it happened.
I think it's Phil. I think Phil's crazy. I think that was a crazy performance.
Agreed. It's historic what he did, honestly.
It is historic, but I still give it, I would say, how bad Rory played.
Missing the cut.
Yes.
Was he like +4?
Not even coming close.
I mean, I think in golf, like, dude, that happens. Just sucks that it was this week, obviously, but like, what Phil did does not just happen. That is
somebody that's won 3 Green Masters and played at the Masters every single year since like '97. No, Fred Couples made the cut.
Evan, Phil finished second. He's the oldest second place finisher
on
ever.
both sides.
Yeah, but like the whole thing in age in sports is so stupid now because everybody plays longer. It's so stupid, so stupid. It's it's like a stat that everyone's like, "What's the worst stat?" X person became this old.
I think that what's more impressive, Evan, is Phil has been garbage on the LIV Tour. He's not even like close to winning on that tour. I couldn't imagine he
showing up to a tournament, playing a tournament at Raisin Valley, and then everyone would be, you should shoot well at this course because you play it all the time. Phil's won 3 green jackets.
Okay, Tiger's won more, and he didn't play that well.
He has one leg. He has one leg.
Phil has lost 50 pounds and does
he's
cocaine
hitting nukes
and has a gambling problem.
We're sick sunglasses. We can see his eyes through them. We do not
the gambling problems.
We do if it affects your family.
Well, clearly doesn't affect his play.
The real loser, not in long-term scope of legacy, but in terms of a weekend just taking it on the chin, was Tiger Guys. Because Tiger Guys dislike Phil because he was the kind of competitor. And after this weekend, he was certainly much, much better than Tiger this weekend. So a tough weekend for the Tiger crowd.
I was saying, you want Justin Thomas. Golf needs Justin Thomas, Rory McIlroy, big names to make the cut every single major.
Justin Thomas is very inconsistent.
He blew up on the back nine.
I don't think golf for Grant does not need Rory McIlroy in it because I think
you're a hater.
Since his,
we know.
I mean, he hasn't won a major in
he's never even been close. It's
Alex, but that's going to help.
Final group at the British last year, and he didn't finish second at the Masters last year. He didn't have 2 top 3 finishes in majors last year. You're right, Grant. He's not even close. I'm
just saying, from my view,
I'm just saying,
Rory.
You might not, but he's still capable, and he's right there. So let's relax.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Alex. We want big names going into.
I do too.
Stretch. So I think it's more shocking that how bad Rory played. Because that's his last one to get the Grand Slam.
Rory?
Yeah. Last one. All he needs is the Masters.
Yeah. Listen, Jordan Spieth's going to get the Grand Slam first.
I hope one of them gets it because it's good for golf.
Well, Jordan's the best for golf.
Speaking
most important guy in golf.
No. Speaking of guys who will get the Grand Slam at some point, Morikawa, my guy, let me down because you looked at how Sunday went. He was 4 under going into the day, and you saw so many people post like 5 under, Phil like 5, 6 under. Morikawa just didn't have. If he had his B+ game, he would have made a charge towards the top and thought he could have contended, but he just stayed. He played like even par the last day, which was super depressing. So he let me down.
Talk about a guy that's rose to the top and then just poo-pooing his way down the bottom, just like Rory. Except he wasn't as good as Rory in the beginning. So wow, Grant, your guy struggling.
Morikawa will finish with more major wins in his career than Rory.
Okay. Do you want to wager?
Yeah, we'll take it offline.
Because the field's only getting stronger. It's going to be harder to win that kind of.
I don't know if
majors.
it is though.
It's not.
No, because this is
having
a point I
new
wrote
major
down.
champions every year is not.
But this is what I wrote down, is that I was doing some research on, where guys rank all time after this. And as each major goes on and we get new winners, you realize, because we were very young during Tiger's heyday.
Oh, I remember it.
It made it. I don't remember watching Tiger on my television ever. It just makes, like when I was young, like through the 97, 2000, I was 4 years old. I don't remember watching golf on TV. It makes that dominance when you look back so much more impressive. And I think if you don't have a figure like that, it makes it more wide open.
But
yeah,
have
you're
so
getting
many
new
guys
winners
that are really, really, really good. Back then, there was like 3 guys that were good, and then the rest were like, yeah.
I think I'd rather have a bunch of guys really good than one guy you just can't beat. I mean, ask Phil. Phil's probably like, dude, if Tiger didn't exist, I would have so many.
Well, maybe John Rahm is going to just be that guy.
No, I think what I'm starting to learn is like no one's ever touching Tiger.
Yeah, that's well known.
Or no one's touching Nicklaus. I guess Nicklaus is still higher.
Yep,
yes.
He played in like 30 more majors than Tiger.
Well, Jack's still the guy. But
he qualified for more majors.
But
Tiger has lifetime qualifications for everything.
When you're like, wow, Rahm's
US
so
Open
good.
runs out in a couple of years.
Tigers?
There's a major that runs out because he can't qualify anymore.
I'm pretty sure you win multiple times. You have a lifetime exemption.
No, there's a major where his qualification runs out.
They'll just give him an honorary exemption at that point, Evan. I'm
watch
watching
him
guys like
scoot
Fred
around in a
Couples
wheelchair
tee
and
up
try to
at
hit
the
a golf
Masters
ball?
every year. Yeah, if they let him. He needs a cart like Paul Casey.
He will never do a cart. Paul Casey does a cart?
He did for a British Open ring.
That's tough. It's a tough look. A massive tree fell down. Luckily, didn't hurt anyone. Never seen that. That was really scary. And I feel like Augusta hates that because they don't want any bad blemishes on their broadcast. And they had a huge tree just fall down in the middle of the tournament.
Can we talk about the broadcast? How bad it is? Why is golf coming on at 3:00 for majors? There's golf. There's golf
because
on.
you can stream it on the internet for free, Evan.
On Saturday,
Actually, no, not for free.
Masters.com, everything is free. They had featured groups, Amen.
But you
Corner.
can't watch like live feeds of like
the big.
you're not watching the broadcast.
The big
Not
problem
until 3.
was Saturday that you could not see the leaders play golf unless you did like the tracking thing, which is like people, I understand the options there. It's just not a fun way to watch golf when you have to click someone's name and just watch like a queued up videos play of their shots. That's not a fun way to watch golf. You could not watch the leaders play until the broadcast came on and they were already like 5 holes deep, which is absurd because they put Tiger Woods, who was like +6, in a featured group.
Just watch him nibble around the golf course.
Yeah. And it's not like his fault. It's the coverage's fault, but yes, Evan, the broadcast was bad. And they had the tree fall down and the weather was bad. The weather made me think of this. Am I crazy for thinking that, like, let's say you got asked to go play there or you won tickets in the lottery? Amazing experience, but if you got Saturday's weather, it'd be a super, like, bummer. It would not, you wouldn't look back like, wow, my trip was amazing. Like, weather is king and weather could ruin even Augusta if you were there.
I think so. You'd be pissed off.
Yeah. I would try to be positive about it, obviously.
It just looks so miserable that day.
Pissed off. So Saturday, you go, rains nonstop, downpour rain. You're wet.
Yep.
You're soaking wet.
No,
Okay.
Evan, we don't have to argue. We all know rain sucks.
Even if you got to play it, it'd be miserable.
Yes. And then be like,
Yes.
all right, we'll still honor your tickets. Come back tomorrow morning. Oh, by the way, it's going to be 40 degrees with a wind chill in Georgia.
I can get over the cold. I would
to
just
watch
wear a
golf,
winter
though?
coat.
To watch golf?
Yes. The rain is where it would suck.
Let's say it was just Saturday, like the worst weather, and you played it. You come back to the come see, people go, how was it? You wouldn't be like, it was awesome. You'd be like, it was
It'd probably
pretty bad.
still look awesome, but
You would talk about your practice rounds and how nice the weather was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
well, we're talking about playing it only, Evan.
No, Evan,
Yeah,
I'm saying you
technically
just
played it.
We're
No,
saying
we're
no.
saying
You
you
just
play
get
it
dropped
Saturday.
in Saturday when it got
you
then
get
come
canceled,
home.
flight in. You're like,
and then you get flown out. You'd be like, "Wow, the Augusta stinks." Like you wouldn't be like it was
You
awesome.
wouldn't say Augusta stinks. You would say it rained, and that kind of put a damper on things. You wouldn't act like Augusta sucks because it rained.
You might overreact and be like, Augusta sucks.
No,
You would say that
might.
experience sucked.
I would not.
You would say
Waste
that
of time.
experience sucked.
I don't think so.
Speaking of sucks,
Dwayne Casey, get out.
Bryson DeChambeau,
Oh.
back in COVID, called Augusta par 67. He missed the cut this weekend, and since he made that comment, he's finished T46, miscut. So I just like bringing it up whenever he does bad at Augusta.
He just sucks.
And then lastly, two last things on this. Our picks, real quickly, crazy moment here. Scheffler, Schauffele, and Morikawa, our favorites, all finished 4 under. Whoa. So nobody won that.
Scheffler had a run, and he made that.
Alex, you ended up
terrible
winning
par three.
because Siwoo Kim was +1. Billy Horschel finished +12, and Minwoo Lee missed the cut. So Alex, by
Feels
default,
good.
is
Winner.
first. It's kind of a Mickey Mouse victory because all of our favorites were good. Or not good, but the same. They were all the same.
Listen, my
It was
favorite
interesting
should
'cause-
have beat yours, but he had a horrendous par 3 late in the round.
It was interesting because the way it went, Schauffele was hot, so Evan kind of had the first day, and then Morikawa was there in the middle, and then Scheffler came on Sunday until, was it 11 or 12? The par 3, the 12, the par 3.
Double.
Yeah, he put it in the bush, took an unplayable and then his unplayable was still like one of the worst lies I've ever seen.
And he hacked it out and then
So-
two-putted. Oh my God, it was tough.
Yeah. I think between him, I would say Rahm and Scheffler. If someone said who, like came from another country, said who are the best golfers on the planet, I would say Rahm and Scheffler right now.
Wow, Grant, really getting outside the box, picking the number 1 and number 2 in the official world golf rankings.
I didn't know that's what they were. I'm just saying it feels like those two.
Rahm moved
every
up to
tournament.
1. Scheffler moved from 1 to 2.
I'm just saying.
Really good job, bud.
I'm not trying to be crazy. I'm just saying those two are the best 2 golfers in the world right
Yeah,
now.
no shit. They're ranked
Okay,
1 and 2.
I didn't know if it was obvious. There might be some Tiger slaps out there or some Rory slaps.
What? Tiger's at like 100th.
Okay.
My
Now,
last
here's a
thing.
J-
My last thing before the
Oh.
Pistons. Jason Day added to my list.
What?
list.
He had a bad day.
Of what?
He said on Wednesday he wasn't capable of winning the Masters, and you picked him anyway.
Stay level,
Oh.
buddy. I'm not asking you. Okay, after his second hole, he is 4 under. He is 4
Where'd he
under.
finish?
He birdied. He finished the day plus. Well, he shot an 80 on the day. Shot an 80.
4
That's
over
bad.
for the final number.
At one point, he was 9 under. Just think of that.
That is wild.
Just shoot par rest of the time. Shoot 72. Shoot 73. You know what? Finish 7
Shoot 80.
under.
Shoot
Shot 80 on Sunday.
76.
I mean, Brooks played bad. That's 5 worse than Brooks. That's pretty wild. Listener text here. Last thing before we get off of golf. It's a spicy one, so buckle up. Question. Why is Alex such a loser and hypocrite? Jinxing Evan's master pool bet might make him the asshole of the month. Your thoughts, Alex?
It's got to be one of the younger kids.
What a great question. Absolute
That is.
fantastic question.
It's a fair question.
It's a little different. I was competing against Evan, so of course I sent it in order to jinx him. I wanted to jinx him. It's not like Evan made a bet. I didn't have any bets, and I was just like trying to jinx Evan out of winning. No, I was jinxing Evan out of winning so myself could win. So it is competition. I think it's all fair.
It's a
And
solid
I didn't
defense.
expect a full-on 80 from one of your guys. I mean, that's just funny.
You did that to Jason Day.
And
I
listener
mean,
Ben won,
He
so
did
it's
it over
okay.
text message, and he did it in person multiple times.
You did in person.
The winner,
multiple
Ben.
times.
I just said there's no way you
Congratulated
can
me on the
lose.
Multiple times on Friday
It's
and
messed up.
Saturday.
I honestly did think on Saturday you still were going to win.
The reverse
so.
jinx is getting out of control, and I found the best way to cope with it is just completely ignore it.
Great, because
I
you're
was,
known
I was
reverse
so
jinxer.
pissed off Sunday. I was so pissed off.
When you texted, I laughed. I did.
I was
Made
so
me laugh.
pissed off at you.
I mean, Alex, you did so
It's not my
early.
fault, Evan.
Just
I
ridiculous.
did it like Thursday afternoon.
Your meme just pissed me off even more.
What
I was
was
hoping
it?
just like, hey, sorry, man, dude, it happens. I
Yeah.
would live with that.
You wanted me to
Alex leaned into it.
apologize?
Alex leaned into it. It was absurd.
Nah, I'm playing the Hunter Dickinson villain role at that point.
The Grinch smirk. Ben tried to do it, that nasty trick again with Manchester City. He said GG's like after the first goal. And I was like, yeah, sorry, Ben, it doesn't work on a wagon. We're going to win 3-0 right in your face.
See, I mean, it really didn't make a difference what I said.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
it
it does.
does. I feel like
Vibes.
it is.
Now, if I would have finished top 4 and you didn't, then I would have felt bad. Because at that one point, that was
I
going
don't
to
think
happen.
you would have felt bad. Well, you should
I
have
would've
never.
felt-
You should have never.
I was going to
accepted
feel
any
bad
money.
if you never got in the money at all. I didn't win any money, Evan.
If you did win money, you should have forked it over because on Saturday, well, this should be winner take all.
Well, it should. And I did think about that when I saw myself in 4th. I was like, should I just give this to someone else?
Okay. Detroit Pistons. Let's spend 5 to 10 minutes here, not too long.
Let's spend 2.
I do have some stats about the season finish because they caught my attention because of the coaching thing. Again, to reiterate, we were not going to talk about them this week. We're going to talk about the Pistons and Red Wings next week. We were, but they fired their coach, so that deserves talking to. Powerful position in Detroit. Pistons season's over. Set the stage. Finished 17-65.
Woo!
For you lottery
Get hot.
sweats,
Let's get hot.
that means that we have a 100% chance to be a top 5 pick. We cannot fall farther than 5. We have a 52% chance to be a top 4 pick and a 14% chance to be top 1, which when you say those out loud is not very comforting.
No.
It's pretty crazy. You only have 14% chance to get the first pick when you're that bad.
Who are we tied with for first pick?
The Spurs and I don't know the third team.
It's okay. You
That's right.
you only said one team that I know who's going to get it.
The Spurs will probably get. That would be
Spurs
my
are gonna
rigging
get it.
bet.
Spurs are getting it. Let's be honest. The Spurs are getting
Wemby and Pop.
it. Yeah.
But Pop's retiring, so maybe the NBA doesn't want to give it to them.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle. We had
They
our
get big
cycle,
men.
got injured.
David
blew it.
Robinson, Tim Duncan, Wemby.
Yeah, Wemby.
They all were number 1 picks, big men. They need the
Here-
Spurs back in the playoffs.
Here are some crazy stats for you about how bad this Pistons season was. I did some research on Pro Basketball Reference. The 1979-1980 Pistons won 16 games. They won 1 less than this team. Trivia question for you guys without looking it up. Who was the coach of that team?
What year?
1979-1980. No looking it up.
Dick
It's amazing.
Vitale.
Oh, I know. It is
Yeah.
Dick Vitale.
Is it?
Dick,
Yes.
Dick Vitale was the coach of the worst record team in Pistons history. I did not know that. That was a blast from the past for me. Sometimes my history knowledge is not the best. You could make a case, though, that this team, despite the one more win, is worse. So on Pro Basketball Reference, they have an SRS, simple rating system. It essentially just factors in your average point differential in games and your strength of schedule. This year's team was negative 7.73. That team was negative 7.57. So you can argue this was the worst season in Pistons franchise history. It's 100% confirmed it is the worst defensive team the franchise has ever had based on stats. And 4 of the 5 worst defensive seasons in team history have come under Dwayne Casey. So that's how we got here today. We have not played any defense. 4 or 5 worst years of defense under him. So now we need a coach. And I'm going to start it with James Edwards' article. I think he has the biggest pulse on his team. I think he has good sources. He wrote his article, gave his candidates, and he had a tweet that said, "I firmly believe one of these top 4 in the article will be the head coach." I'm going to read you the names. The last one is going to jar you if you haven't already seen it.
I read it.
First is Charles Lee, assistant coach, 38 years old from the Milwaukee Bucks. Jerry Stackhouse was in the top 4. I kind of like him. We'll get to that. Ime Udoka, we all know what that man did, his prowess and off the court problems. And
Don't
last
care.
but not least, Kevin Ollie was the 4th candidate, which stunned me.
Get him out.
I agree.
Whoever wrote this article needs to be fired.
No, Evan, we just praised
Get
the
him.
man. He's just listing candidates.
He's good at his job.
No, he's not saying they should, Evan. He's just saying
What he's heard.
what he's heard.
Jay Wright was the dark horse.
Jay Wright is also lower in the article.
I would like Jay Wright. He's a winner. He built Villanova's program. Kevin Ollie was handed a program over, and he burnt it to the ground.
Evan, relax, dude. You act like we hired the guy.
But he
Chill
won
out.
a
If Kevin
title.
Ollie's the head coach, I will not
Evan,
cheer for
take
this.
a breath, my dude. Just
If
relax.
it's an interview, I'll be pissed off.
There was also some tweets from Woj about different assistants, like with the Thunder that Weaver knows, but I'm only going off of this article because I trust James Edwards and he's usually all over this team, and he felt one of those top 4 was going to be hired. So, with that being said, you can go outside the list if you want. I want to know, in a dream world, who's the Pistons coach. And I think we know worst case scenario based on Evan's reaction. I tend to agree. I do not want Kevin Ollie to be the coach of the Pistons. No offense to Kevin. I don't want to do that. I have scars from what we watched after the championship at UConn. But I am curious. Maybe do like who you think is going to be coach and who would be a dream to be coach.
Go ahead, Alex.
Why me first?
I'm gonna go first. I got 2 dreams.
I got 2 that I would be good
Tom
with.
is out.
No dream.
No, stop. No, we're winning national championship next year.
Dream. You are.
Yeah,
Preseason national championship.
absolutely.
Hit it, Evan.
Phil
Hit
Jackson.
your 2.
Well, you started talking, so I backed off. Nick Nurse.
Poach.
Well, I saw an article, a report that he's gonna look at other options and not sign an instant contract extension or something about his contract. That he's gonna shop around. He's gonna look around. And then I'm gonna butcher his name, Grant. So if you want to shoot out that name again,
Ime Udoka.
Ime Udoka.
Yep. Udoka. Yep. I don't care what happens. He got over it. He was going to be the Nets head coach, and then backlash there. Obviously, I think he's learned from it because he's not a head coach in the NBA anymore, or I would hope he learned from it. He's just good at basketball.
Good.
I mean, I don't think Boston wanted to fire him, but I think it was one of those things that they had to in that situation. He would still be coaching Boston if that situation never happened. Because how good of a coach he is.
100%,
And
yeah.
he's the head coach at Detroit. Hopefully, he can persuade Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
Hey,
I like that.
connections there.
Maybe Jason
Oh.
Tatum too.
Those are my 2. Kevin Ollie, absolutely not. There's no really college guy that I think
Wrong.
is it. What college guy can translate?
Jerry Stackhouse.
I don't know if he can.
Turned around terrible Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt wasn't that bad.
Can I give you
Under
one
Kevin
thing?
Stallings.
He
Did
wouldn't
they
be
make the tournament this year, Alex?
Didn't he coach in the NBA as an assistant for a while?
Here's a nugget for you.
Played at the Pistons, hometown hero.
Because when I kept saying the Stackhouse smoke, I was like, well, I don't really care if you just turned around Vanderbilt. This could make you feel better, Evan. He's not my first choice, but
He's
he
not mine either.
started before Vanderbilt in the G League, won a G League championship and was G League coach of the year, then jumped to college to coach Vanderbilt and then turned them around to 20 plus wins. So I like that he has the G League. I know it's not the NBA, but it's the feeder school, and he was coach of the year and won a title in the G League. I don't hate that. I think that's good. It's a huge PR move because he used to play for us. Like that would win the headlines in the press conference, but it's risky.
My 2 are Ime.
They're all risky, honestly.
Number 1.
Alex, he's
assuming
from
he
North
can get
Carolina.
over-
He's not coming home.
He home as in he played for the
Play- yeah.
Pistons, Evan.
Alum.
No.
He bleeds Detroit.
He believes Detroit.
It's like saying like Grant Hill's coming home.
Yeah.
Yes.
To be our announcer.
Ime number 1, and then Jim Nance number 2 for me.
Jim Nance.
No, Jerry Stackhouse would be 2 of those people on that list. I don't know anything about these assistant coaches, so I don't want to jump for that. Definitely not Kevin Ollie.
I'm down for
Although
Charles
it might be
Lee.
cool to have Kevin Ollie now because his redemption arc after Evan crucifies him on this podcast would be exciting.
He could work in the NBA.
He might. Might be easier for him. No recruiting.
It takes a different type of coach between leagues. I'm not going to be mad if we hire Charles Lee, the assistant from Milwaukee. I like that he's young. And like my biggest thing that I think we've done bad is that we just hire recycled old coaches. Look at Stan Van and then look at Dwayne. Like I don't
Definitely
need,
don't want that.
We hired a guy who got fired after winning coach of the year. Kind of tells you something about like what the organization that let him go thought about him. It's like, I don't need the recycled guys. I would take a shot on a 38-year-old who's never been a head coach before. Whatever. I mean, that's what happened with the Udoka. I would take him. The thing is, they're all risky because Kevin, we saw UConn.
That's what happens in the market.
Ime
Brad Stevens, call him.
Ime might you should call Brad Stevens. Absolutely, that'd be sick.
Get him out of the front office.
Well, he's got to go back to Butler at some point. But Ime, got to watch your wife if you're in the front office. Jerry Stackhouse has never coached NBA. And then Charles Lee, never been a head coach before as well. So risk with all. Dream, just because I think it would look so cool and visually appealing, Jay Wright. That'd be sick.
Jay Wright would be awesome.
It may not work. He might be too old. It might be John Beeline 2.0. But I'd like to think that he could get our guards.
I forgot John Beeline was an NBA coach.
Yep. Old school, like, great guy. And then sometimes...
like the NBA players turned college coaches that everybody wants in the NBA, Grant. Juwan Howard and Penny Hardaway.
See, that would be a mistake, I think. I think Juwan could be better than Penny if I had to put...
Penny's got the boys cooking now in Memphis after he had some mistakes with Amani, and he recruited Jalen Duren.
I think both those guys could be better NBA coaches than college coaches, but I don't think I'd give the keys to them right now.
Could we get Eric Spoelstra to leave Miami?
No, probably not.
No.
Steve Nash?
No.
Anybody want him?
No.
After his failed experiment?
No. I'm
front office failed in there.
The reason I like this list is because 3 of the 4 would be first-time NBA head coaches. And Udoka has barely been one. Was really good. Had problems.
Went to the finals.
I just want freshness. I don't want to recycle some old coach. So I don't hate the list. I think they're on track to turn this team around. This is not the show for that, but I will not quit this team because how much I love them from my childhood. I still have hope for next year to be much, much better. And this is the first step. They had to get rid of Dwayne. I guess like I said, he's just not getting rid of him, but moving. Kind of weird. But it is what it is. And that's the Pistons.
How poorly would Tom Izzo do as Pistons head coach?
It could go like Beeline.
I think it'd be a year and a half max.
The thing with Beeline they reported was that like he was like nitpicking the players' fundamentals, which is probably aggravating. Like to him, like they probably have sloppy passes. You see how sloppy the NBA is in the regular season, and like these guys just don't want to be coached hard in practice like that. Is what the gist I got, and they got fed up with them. And then he has comments in the film session and called them thugs, and then he was fired because someone on the team leaked that to Woj and tweeted it. So
I think Tom would be fed up with the players after 2 weeks.
I think he'd do.
The reason he never jumped.
I think he would do better because, like, he's really good buddies with Draymond. I think Draymond would help him. Like, this is how you have to talk to NBA players.
I'm sure he could figure it out, but I don't think he would want to figure it out.
That's why I'd worry about Jay Wright. Like, because just Jay Wright's like land on 2 drills that are awesome. Do those work in the NBA, or did Jay and Ivy and Cade say we're not going to land on 2 feet? I'm going to go dunk the ball over someone's head. I don't know.
I mean, Villanova has like the most NBA players in the last few years.
They are.
Jay Wright obviously knows how to develop them.
Okay. Other Detroit team, the Lions. Before we get into draft needs talk, Jeff Okudah got traded today for a 5th-round pick to Atlanta. Alex is fist pumping. I'm sad. My emotions about this trade are sad. It was out of the blue. I was stunned. I saw like speculative articles that he could go to the Rams, but it seemed like those were all just fake. Well, it turns out they were actively shopping him this whole offseason, which hurts. I mean, we did talk about after free agency that I said, does it feel like his days are numbered? Because you just look at who we brought in. Alex is laughing. He's making me mad.
It's hilarious that you didn't see it coming.
Like, it just sucks because the football brain, I'm like, all right, whatever. I trust Brad. Let's go ride. I'm not mad. I don't think like the Lions got worse today necessarily. I just like this human being and want him to be successful because of how much I've invested into him being good. And he's polarizing and he's fun to talk about.
It's all about you, Grant. It's all about you.
That's everyone's life.
You were just wrong about him, and so now you need him to be here to be good. And now that he's gone, it feels like you lost the argument.
I'm not wrong yet.
Brad and I are aligned. We think he sucks, and so Brad traded him. And Evan secretly, despite him trying to play both sides most of the time, he agrees that getting rid of Jeff Okudah was the right decision.
Only in one situation I thought it was a good situation.
The money that you say.
Yes, because remember, Evan wants to be the Oakland A's of the NFL.
You're correct. If you take the name off of what Jeffrey Okudah was, take the name off. Take the position, take all the history. You just look at that player.
Even noticed.
you look at that player, okay, we filled in depth around this player X. He has a $10 million cap hit. He's got 1 year left on his deal. We're not going to sign him. It's basically we need to move on from it. And so that's what happened.
Bad.
I don't think it's bad. I would have loved to see him turn it around.
He needed to change positions probably if he wanted to have a chance to be decent.
I think he would have. I think just the whole stipulation, the whole bad mindset, it was because, 1, he played Ohio State. 2, drafted by Matt Patricia. And 3, he was the 3rd pick.
I mean, I hated the pick the day it happened. So this feels like a good day for me to be right.
I mean, I didn't want to pick it either.
Listen, I wish the best for Jeff. I hope he becomes an all-pro in Atlanta, blah, blah, blah. I wouldn't be mad. It just, he doesn't fit here, and that's okay.
I need him to be all-pro.
He will never be all-pro. He won't, Grant.
I still, it's just going to be one of those guys I'd go to the ground with. I just see so much talent in the way he moves around a football field. And he'll
have good games. He'll have a pick, and you'll see it on Red Zone. You'll be like, oh, my God, that's my guy. And then
I'll retweet it.
Give up 3 touchdowns. And then that's just how it's going to go.
I know the end of the season is going to be what it was. I still think an injury played a part in how the end of the season.
Grant.
I think an injury played a part. He was having the best season of his career. Throughout the beginning.
Not hard to do.
We had a show where Okudah's back. We're all in. You were in. You were like, Okudah is good.
Good at tackling. That's what I said.
Good at tackling. Had a pick 6, won us the Chicago game at Chicago.
Evan picks that off and takes it to the crib as well.
He had moments. He
Grant,
was.
You might get
He
that.
had a great game in Minnesota. He had a lot of breakups where we he's good. He's arrived. And then he had an injury or something happened. I mean, he just don't laugh, man. The guy's had so many bad luck. He got drafted into Patricia. They shoved this kid against Devontae Adams day 1 to replace Darius Slay. They did this kid so dirty. He gets hurt in every year, which again, red flag. I understand. I just wanted to ride 1 more year with him, and then we can let him walk if we let him walk. I just didn't. Getting traded. The optics of the headline, 3rd pick in the draft, trade for 5th round pick 3 years later is such a bad headline that you cannot overcome unless he makes all pro. And then we look like idiots, which is what I want. No offense, Brad Holmes. I love you, but I hope you look like a big dummy after this trade because I love Jeff Okudah and he's my guy.
Who did we draft in the 5th round last year, Grant?
James Houston was at the pick.
It was him or Malcolm Rodriguez.
Malcolm was 6.
So yeah, James Houston sounds right. Would you rather have him or Jeff Okudah?
Jeff Okudah.
Okay. No, you don't mean that.
You put me in a corner, dude. You put me in a corner.
You don't mean that. It's time. It was time for Jeff to move on,
I
and
just
it's better to get something
these
than nothing.
Veterans, we talked about how he could just spend a whole year with CJ GJ and become a dog.
What was he? He wasn't going to play.
Yeah, he was.
Where? Special teams.
Mosley's coming off an injury. He could be outside while Mosley gets back.
Mosley's a starting corner. Jeff is a starting special teamer, gunner.
Jeff would be a great gunner.
Wow. He's not even going to start in Atlanta.
Yes, he will.
They have one good corner for sure.
Him, AJ Terrell, and Jesse Bates going to be locked down secondary. No offense, Jared. No offense, Jared Goff.
He should move to nickel.
No offense, Jared Goff. I hope Jeff Okudah has 3 picks when we play them.
Do we play them this year?
Yes, we play the South. So. We play the South. We do play the South.
Oh my God.
We play Okudah.
When JMO torches him deep, I will be dying.
JMO, love you, JMO. The tweet was way too fast to say I need that number.
No, it wasn't because he realized Jeff sucked.
Evan, did you see that? How fast it was? It was 5 minutes roughly after the Okudah trade was announced.
2 tweets within 10 minutes
he said,
of Okudah.
I'm going to need that number. Or I got to read it. It was a lot.
I did not see this, no.
I sent it.
JMO did not wait around for a second.
My stuff won't load in my messages.
I need you to fix your phone.
It's just the body wasn't even cold yet. The body's warm, dude, and JMO's out here.
Because JMO doesn't give a shit about Jeff Okudah. And why should he?
Give me that boy's number.
I need that Uno back, please, with 20 exclamation points.
Yeah.
And then he tweeted again. I'm sorry for everybody who got that jersey, but I need that Uno, man. Sad face, shaking my head.
And then someone said shadow box for it and said, we can box for real, whoever want it.
It'd just be refreshing to see a guy wearing number 1. That's pretty good.
Well, we'll see if Jared can hit him. Anyways, this is not about other Lions things. Listener text about you, Evan. Someone's asking about you. They are saying, I don't know if it's supposed to be good or bad, but back when the 40-yard combine was happening with 40-yard dashes, I asked everyone for their 40 time. We had Alex around, 4.8. That feels right. I was a 4.99. Never forget the day I broke 5. And I tweeted it out before Evan texted, but I said 4.3 to 4.4. Evan, I think you said 4.46 is what you remember. Well, it turns out.
Someone's saying Evan can't do it?
No. They said this was swept under the rug and it needs to be addressed with that screenshot of the tweet. And then a headline saying 2023 NFL Scouting Combine, Texas RB Bijan Robinson runs 4.46 40-yard dash. So I don't know if they're trying to compare Evan to Bijan in a good way, or they're trying to crap on Bijan and say he's as fast as Evan. I think this is a win.
Evan on a laser can't get a 4.46? Personally, Evan, I think you can.
Well, I don't know what I would run on a laser. Mine was hand.
You got some extra weight now from high school, probably, right?
3 pounds.
That might carry you a little faster. You might get
clearly,
moving.
I'm not as in well shape I was in like peak high school, like athletic ability. So I don't know if I could run it now. Obviously not. But back then, I hold my bargain up to that. No, I don't know. I'm just
you put Evan in
I don't really know.
In the backfield for the Detroit Lions from the 2-yard line with that O-line. Evan scores it just as many times as Bijan does, if that's the comparison we're making.
I just don't know what they're trying to get at. Like, it needs to be addressed. It was swept under the rug. Are they saying Bijan's bad?
Or they're saying Evan's a freak athlete.
Yeah, I view this as this is good
minus
for Bijan
the height and weight,
because Evan's really fast, and when he ran that time, he's super fast. So I think that's good for Bijan, if anything. I don't think it's like, your franchise running back's only as fast as Evan. No, like Evan's fast, so that is a good thing.
Franchise running
back.
So
eat it, dude. Eat it, listener.
I'll accept it.
I'll
accept the compliment.
Bijan's like, he's more well-rounded athlete than Evan, but
absolutely,
a lot bigger.
They're good for you to admit that.
I'm going to take a tackle, a hard hit, a little bit better than I could.
I could tackle him,
but now it's addressed that Bijan ran the same 40 as Evan to the numbers.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
All right, little sprinkle of draft talk. We're going to do needs. We're going to break it down into draft needs.
Oh, my God. I love the draft, man. Love it. All I do every 4th hour
I have
type it in every single day. NFL mock draft and just
small rant about it.
Stupid mock drafts.
You got rant
I think
about
it's so ridiculous that people spend so much time making their own mock drafts. You included, Grant, Ben, listener.
I make one just about every single day.
Yeah, but for what, guys?
I do one a week.
So I get the perfect draft how it's going to happen. So
it's just never gonna. It never goes the way everyone thinks it's going to.
Oh, it's going to.
And so you guys just sit there, do a mock draft, and then talk yourself into this is their team now. But then, like a week later, you do it again. No. I just don't understand what the point is.
No, not a week later, Alex. Like a day later, I do a new one.
And especially if you guys are doing them, and then you're not even telling anybody about them. You just do them.
I do them for my satisfaction.
I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
Mine's twofold. One, we do our combined one, so I like to go on the platform we're going to use.
That one's fine.
And I like to I like to do my own reps, so I know when we do ours that hey, this guy's probably going to be available. And two, Alex,
such a weird concept.
I think as a fan, you want to know on draft night what options are available to your team, because it's you can do different ones no trades.
You can know all that without doing your own personal mock drafts.
No, because obviously the board.
I have a good grip and I haven't made a single one.
I don't think you have. I think you have a loose grip.
I think
no, I think not true, Grant. I get sent. I get sent
fly out of your hands.
Mock drafts by my friends constantly, so I'm always seeing them. I can always see what's happening.
No, the biggest thing that I feel is, one, it humbles me and reminds me how many college players I don't know anything about, because as you get later on, you're fifth round, I don't know who any of these guys are. Two, I think it's the best way to figure out how deep a position is, because you can go I've gone through some, and you let's say you take a linebacker in the first round, and then you get to your next pick at 55 and there's 3 linebackers that I like there. So that's hey, let's not do that. So on draft night, I'm going to be
right, just in case when we get to draft night, when Brad calls you, you can be like, no, Brad, I did 18 mocks. I like this guy. He's going to be available later, so let's just wait. But, yeah, I mean, it seems silly to be doing as many mock drafts as you guys do.
I don't know if it's just because you hate mock drafts, but
I don't. I think they're interesting, but like
this scenario,
is it just to kill time because you're bored or what?
This scenario you're playing out of like you don't have any.
It's not like an exam, Grant.
But you don't have any control on it. Like that can be applied to so many things in sports where we like. You check message boards to see what's going to happen. Like you have no control over whether or not Walker comes back.
Agreed.
But it's the same thing. Like
we're just useless knowledge.
I just
it's like Evan creating 12 brackets still because he's 6 years old.
It's also helpful to know like kind of what trades will be accepted. Like when everyone's like, "Oh, let's just trade up." Like that's just so easy to say, but you need to know how many picks you need to give up to even get there. Because these algorithms are pretty legit when it comes to what you have to give up or to move down. So that's good to know. It's just nice to know.
I would just love to know the traffic on these mock draft websites. I'm sure that there's just thousands of people doing it all the time.
Got so big that you now have to pay to do the full. You can only do the top 3 rounds, I think, or top 2 rounds because how many people probably use it. Because
we just make a mock draft simulator on a website and
become rich.
Put some ads on it and be rich.
I had to move to Pro Football Network now. I hope they stay open because they're the only one that is good for me now. Because PFF you can only do 2 rounds. It's kind of fun, but it's like
not to get too into the weeds about mocks, but what do we need? What do we need for this team?
I don't like doing them until like now. What we need, this is my first need, then we'll pass it to someone else so I don't hog all of them. My top need is interior defensive lineman help. Oh. And I word it vaguely because I've gotten so confused with positions in the NFL where like, are you an outside linebacker? Are you an edge rusher? Are you a defensive lineman? I just need someone who lines up not on the edge, that who can get to the quarterback quickly on passing downs is the biggest thing we need because we have a Lee McNeil. You could use another one of him. Always you could. But he kind of has the run game down, I would say. And I can't pretend anymore. I'm going into this season thinking that Levi Onzarecki is not on our team. I know he is, but like after what we've seen, you can't bank on him turning into what they drafted. And then Pascal's still young. So we need to invest into another guy who can get to the quarterback from the inside on passing downs. That's my biggest need for this team.
We're just saying in general, right? Not first round need.
Yeah, in general, in this draft, what you need to walk away with. It could be an immediate need or a future need. I would say this one's probably both. Like you need a guy this season that can do that, and you need a guy in the future that can also do that.
Evan?
I would say offensive line depth. Now, it might not be on the surface. You look at the team, you're like, well, we don't need this. Our offensive line, look at our run game, look at our offense. However, our offense carried us to 9 wins last year. Our defense was bad for 75 to 85% of the year. If one key piece on that offensive line goes down, I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this season unfold before our eyes because we're missing a key piece. You saw what happens when you have a healthy offensive line where Decker, Ragnow, and Sewell play all together.
Big of you to say Decker there.
Well,
he's finally
really
turned.
Big. He's paid like he's good, so he should actually play like he's good.
He is.
So I want more depth, and I think offensive line is one of those things where if you're running the ball well, you don't want to see a small piece just ruin it all. And I think like drafting, I think there's a difference in offensive line in the first and second round compared to the later rounds. And I get that you can develop offensive linemen, but there's a reason why offensive linemen, offensive tackles especially, go in the first round. There's a reason why they're valued more.
Yeah. To piggyback on that, because I have something that overlaps. So if you have an overlap, you can just add on to it. I had guard as written down, so a little bit more specific, but I'm okay with tackle as well. The reason I have that is because I was scarred by the revolving door we had last year because of the injuries. I think we saw like Evan Brown play there. We saw a guy below Evan Brown play there because everyone kept getting hurt. And it's right guard specifically, but if you look at our contracts on Spot Track, great site, you'll see that Jonah Jackson, Vaitai, and Glasgow are all expiring deals after this year. So you will have no guards under contract confirmed going into next year. So it'd be good to draft one probably in the second or third. Guards aren't really a first-round commodity unless you're Cole Strange from the Patriots gets drafted there. But we could do second or third and take one there to kind of bolster that. They could play right away if someone gets hurt. I think Vitai's day one starter, but we don't know because right guard's kind of a mystery right now. So we'll see. Alex.
Well, my first one was D tackle. My second one was offensive lineman.
Nice.
So,
good meeting. Everyone's
I
on
guess I'll move into a luxury spot.
Ooh.
I could go linebacker, but that seems too obvious. So I'll go tight end. I think we could use a tight end. Yes, I get it. The weird backups last year had some production. Shane Zylstra had 4 touchdowns in a game.
How talented of a tight end?
I'm not saying draft one in the first round, Evan.
I'm not asking that either. I'm saying how talented of a tight end. There's a difference when you draft one like in the top 4 rounds, asking when you draft one in the 6th or 7th round.
Like, are you saying Sam
I wouldn't mind
Laporta or Luke Schoonmaker?
Like one of those guys, Seam Bobo.
One is they're 4 rounds apart, probably.
Sam Laporta's second rounder.
Oh yeah, second or third, and Scooney's probably like
I would
6.
say between a 3rd and a 4th round tight end.
Okay.
Playmaking ability better than the ones we have.
This is a tight end heavy draft, so
And there's a lot.
it's a lot. A lot they're going to go early. It's going to be stunning.
I already got my tight end that I fell in love with, so.
You're saving that. That's right. I'm
Well, you just
surprised.
get
There's one that I wouldn't reach on, but he would just. I would draft him. Who's to
Second
behind him?
round.
And there's like a late round that I think would be absolutely just a Dan Campbell guy.
Your in love one is late round.
Yes.
That's a team.
But he loves one in the top 2 rounds.
I do love one. I would take this tight end at 18 if I was running it. And everybody
It's the
would be
Georgia
like,
guy.
Oh,
Yeah, it is.
he's a different breed. He was a man against boys, and then when he plays, he's going to be a better man against other men.
Wow.
We
All
got to
right.
find our Travis Kelce in this draft is what we just decided.
I wouldn't be mad at a tight end. I'd like it later. I didn't have it on my list because I do think this team can function and win playoff games with the same tight end crew they have now. And I have hope for
bunch of
James
nobodies.
Mitchell. I like James Mitchell. I have hope for him to blossom and probably
He's a
become tight
blocker,
end 1.
though.
He can catch. We saw him catch.
Sorta.
I mean, he can catch
Not
the
like
football.
Not a playmaker.
We don't know.
Yeah, we can all catch the football.
It was his
Grant.
rookie year, wasn't it?
Yes. He's like
Yeah.
he's like a 6th round, 5th round pick out of Virginia.
Year 2. Let's ride. But yeah, it's not a
riding
bad one.
Flashy tight end in the 2nd round would be pretty cool.
I want a blocker more than anything. I don't need any flash because we have the guy.
We have blockers.
We have the catching tight end already. It's a Monroe St. Brown. We have a guy that plays the Travis Kelce role on our team. On third
I have
downs.
2 Travis Kelce's.
Never been done before.
Exactly. Super Bowl recipe.
All right. Back to me. I'll go with what's on my list ranked. I have backup QB. Alex, you touched on this on FA.
That was another one I was going.
I guess this is more of a future pick and immediate need because, like, if Jared Goff does go down, it'd be nice to have someone better than Nate Sudfeld behind him. I don't need this to be early, unless but now that we know the order, CJ's not making it to 6. I would not trade up for him. Like back when we first started draft talks, people were saying CJ might go 6 or could fall to that, but now it's like seems like he's locked for top 2. So anyone that's there at 6, no, from what I understand, and then like maybe a 2nd or 3rd rounder, maybe 3rd. One of those.
Hooker would be nice.
That's nice, but that one's tough too because he's so old. He's like already the same age as Lamar Jackson. He's gonna be 26. Be 26 years old. I don't know.
26, so old. Wow. You're right.
Yeah.
He's 33. He's
Because then
Josh
by the time he-
McCown coming into
But then
the
he may
league,
Lions
not-
are meeting with CJ Stroud later this week.
But then
as they should.
like by the time Hendon Hooker takes over, he might be 27 or 28. And that's kind of it could work, but
It could work.
I got a
Relax.
guy that I would like as a quarterback of the Lions deeper
Who is it?
that I'll save, like Evan saves for when we do our My Guys next week or something like that.
Your Brock Purdy.
My Brock Purdy. So backup QB to Evan.
Safe. It's gonna be like, well, we don't need this because we signed guys, we have talented guys on the roster. I'm doing this because I'm looking at the books. I'm looking at money.
Fullback.
I am. That's Dan Campbell. You're Dan Campbell right now for saying that. I'm looking at money. I'm projecting 2-3 years out. Grant said we're allowed to do that.
Smart.
I'm looking at wide receiver.
Oh.
I think this wide receiver class is talented enough. You need more speed on it. You can't just have the catch and get down guys. And I don't think Josh Reynolds and Quintez Cephas should stick around much longer. There's way too much talent in this draft for wide receiver core, and younger, newer is always better in that position. Plus, Chuck Sizzle would be awesome to have on the team still.
Oh, we're talking deep cut. Alex,
That's one of my guys for next week.
That's
Alex.
a spicy one. That's
my guy for next week.
I feel
Josh
like
Reynolds
we've
is
named
getting
every position
$3.5
now.
million. You're telling me a rookie wide receiver can't do the same thing Josh Reynolds does this year?
I'm not disagreeing
No,
with you at all.
I get Jared Goff has chemistry with him, and he's a veteran. He helps the roster, helps.
I don't think
all
anyone's
that stuff.
arguing with you.
No, I didn't have it on my list because kind of like tight end, I think they can survive and be okay for like the next 2 years because they have a core too. Assuming Jameson, like to me, it's almost like we have 3 first-round picks because we have Jameson Williams coming to play this year.
True.
So it's like we already have a first-round wide receiver ready to rock. But I will say like the prototype that we don't have is like the big guy, like a T. Higgins type guy that would be nice. But then it gets to the point where like when push comes to sub in 4 years, you probably can't pay all 3 receivers if they're all as good as you think they're going to be. But if you're trying to go for that window, that'd be pretty sick to have one of those guys, like a Quinton Johnson or like a taller guy later in the draft. It is a deep class. I wouldn't hate it, but I don't. It's not as high. on
Not
my
high on the
list.
list.
Alex?
Well, we've named a
Got
bunch
3
of
more positions if you want me
Well,
to go.
Grant, these are needs. You can't just name 6 positions and act like they're all needs.
Yeah, I think
I
a lot.
feel like
I think
the
a lot of
exercise
graphics have
has
at least.
gotten
Alex, I
worse.
have another position need that nobody will think. You need a kicker.
No, they signed Michael Badgley, Evan.
You need a kicker that we can trust
They signed him.
with
They
a
trust
better
him.
leg.
Badge was okay.
He was fine.
That might be a want. I do want Jake Moody.
No,
I would-
it's
Some of these
a
I would
feel like
love Jake
wants. Wide
No, Alex,
receiver
that
is
is
a
a
want.
need.
Moody. Well, yeah, I guess actually once you see
Chuck Sizzle is a want. A valuable kicker that you can be on the roster for the next 15 years that you know can go out there and do their job. That's not going to lose us a game.
Yeah,
A
it's true.
linebacker
Moody
is
Moody
a want, is a need.
Well, why didn't you say that? You're like, well, that's obvious. So I'm not going to say
See?
this one.
Okay, there's a debate. I don't think it's a need. I do have it on my needs. But
It's a future
lowest.
need.
I think it's
Yes.
a need. I think it's a future need. I'd say
Yeah,
next
I
year it's a
agree.
future need. You need to get faster, more athletic in that position.
Well, there's a guy that I kind of like that doesn't. Well, he did test crazy athletic. He doesn't look fast, but I think he'd be a stud. And I honestly,
There's
if
a
we
guy at
drafted him,
6 that we should draft. He's technically an edge rusher, linebacker, but
well, I'm talking okay, linebacker. I'm saying inside where the green dot type linebacker.
a leader on the team.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, I'm
He
not
played
gonna
in
give
the
it
Big
away
Ten?
right now. Yeah, he did.
D. Winters.
He's actually sneaky athletic. I didn't realize it until he did his RAS testing, but he looks slow. But I think if we drafted him, I would just start him over Anzalone and let him Malcolm cook. Jack Campbell's a dog, and he's going to be a dog in this league.
The Iowa linebacker.
Oh yeah, he's sick. Now Blake Corum did juke him out of his shoes, which kind of scars me. But Jack Campbell is a really good football player.
Yeah.
The problem with that, the linebacker, it would have been need now, but with signing Anzalone, you have your top 2. You have Derek Barnes floating behind them. You do need someone to groom. It just I don't think you can do it early because like right now you're set. Unless you're in love with a guy, then you take him in round 2 or 3. But linebackers don't go really round 1 anymore.
Future
That's
need.
Future need. My immediate need this year, edge rusher. Still think we need it. Still think you need 3 bona fide dogs coming out the edge. I'm going to count Houston as a dog, but Houston could easily come down to earth. He was out of this world when he played. Hutch, I think you know what you're getting out of a Hutch. And then we do have some interesting guys who have been good in the past, but Houston, this is crazy. James Houston, Charles Harris, and Romeo Okwara, all their contracts are coming up after this year, which is kind of wild because James Houston is basically a rookie, but his contract's already up. So you got to pay him if you want to keep him.
James Houston's contracts are already up.
Yeah, it's a weird
Because we
like
didn't sign him to the
undrafted
roster.
or whatever. How we got him? He's an
Started the
exclusive.
season on the practice squad.
It's kind of he's not going to be a UFA. It's exclusive rights, which I looked up, Evan. So it's kind of like we have all the control, but you do have to then pay him what he's probably worth to keep him around. It's a very interesting situation. So in
Well,
my
Charles
opinion,
Harris can leave. His cap's way too high.
Sorry, Charles, but yeah. So like those guys are coming up. So you need a guy this year and can play in the future. You need a dog edge.
What kind of rules are they making in the NFL?
I don't know. It confused me.
What the
We didn't sign him from the draft. He got put on the practice squad.
I don't think
I don't
they
care.
have-
We signed
so he
him.
didn't get his contract.
No, he has a contract. He played for the
We had to
Detroit Lions.
sign him
He's
to
under
a 1 year.
contract.
Yes, we had to sign him to a 1 year off the practice squad because any team could have taken him off the practice squad. So we just quickly signed him to a 1 year deal.
I do think we don't have to pay him. I think it's exclusive rights free agents, so we're not the smartest guys for that. But I believe you don't have to pay him an absurd price because if you offer him something, he kind of has to accept it in a way.
Or wait, or play out. And then
If his original team offers him a 1 year contract at the league minimum, the player cannot negotiate with other teams.
Boom, we're in.
So it's kind of
that's
cheap-
probably what we did.
It's like a cheap franchise. No, that's what's coming up. He becomes that this offseason.
Bummer for him. He should get
It's
paid a
weird.
lot more than that.
But we might end up paying him more if he's good.
I would hope so.
I'll give him 1.5.
Because then if you do that, then he becomes a UFA probably the next year, and then anyone can get him. So if you like him after this year, anyways. So that's why I think we need edge. Evan, you said you had an off-the-wall one?
My kicker was off the wall one.
My last one then, cornerback, especially after Okudah. The only cornerback we have on this roster that's a Dame in 2024 is Cam Sutton. Mosley 1 year, CJ 1 year, want to go get paid if he does well. So then you just have Cam Sutton. So I'm
Jerry Jacobs.
And Jerry Jacobs.
Well,
Well, he's a safety.
He's
Is
kind
he?
of yeah, technically.
Mm.
They could try to switch him back because
Harris.
we're deep.
Safety.
Will Harris.
Corner
He played
safety.
corner last year.
Nickel, whatever. But I'm open. I don't want one at 6, but I'm open to it. Pick at 18, pick in the second round cornerback. I think you need it now. Can help you this year because Okudah's gone if there's an injury and will help you in the future. That's really all the needs I have for this team.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot for us.
No
I was
safety.
gonna say, Grant, that's all I have for the team.
No
eight,
safety.
8 needs later.
Don't need a running back. Don't need one. Would want one. Would be
I'd
sick.
like one.
But we signed
Really
David
nice
Montgomery to 3 years, so that's kind of tying you up.
Swifty coming back though.
Correct.
That don't need him.
But I think your backup can just be a bag of bread behind Montgomery.
Sign someone.
Although Bijan would be cheap on a rookie deal.
Not in the first round. It wouldn't be that cheap.
18's cheap, Alex. It is. Don't argue with me on this. I've done all the math because I was.
What is it?
It's like you pay him a base salary of like $1 million to $2 million.
We paid David Montgomery 5.
Montgomery's cap hit is like 2.6 this year.
And then it gets
So
higher.
Bijan. So we have 2 Bijan, David Montgomery getting paid the same amount on the cap, Grant.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah, you would. It'd be cheap. Right, a rock.
Just draft a running back in the 4th if you want to.
Okay. That's your hint of draft talk. We'll do more in the coming weeks. College basketball to wrap the show up. Spend like 10 minutes here. We'll start, which I think is the biggest news. Tyson Walker is back with MSU. You guys got to be feeling good about that, right?
Absolutely. Yes. I was never happy with getting that news from like a college athlete returning to the university you cheer for.
Wow. Highest level.
Never been more happy.
Miles Bridges returning before he did all the bad stuff off the court was pretty big news.
No, I was more happy for this.
And even with the bad stuff, it was big news.
It's huge news, actually. I mean, he was a lottery pick.
Yeah, Evan, you had to be more excited during that.
No, during this.
He announced it at the statue, and there were like 1,000 kids there, and it was like this huge thing.
So this tells me then, based on that reaction, Evan, that he will become a top 5 Spartan basketball player.
He might already be for Evan, based on his reaction these days.
Yeah,
I like the guy.
Alex doesn't like him that much.
Yes, I do. I'm just not going to declare him a top 5 player because he had a good season.
2.8, Alex, you're so stupid.
Who's 2.8?
2.8, that's what the 18th pick is, cap hit for next year.
Grant's the one who gave the cap hit.
That's
super. It was less
said,
than that.
No,
$2 million.
Yours would be expensive. Grant was saying that it's cheap. It was around that. He ballparked that number.
2.8 is the same as David Montgomery, Evan. That's still
that's not
paying
that
a
much.
premium running back.
That's David Montgomery first year. David Montgomery second and third years is going to get higher because we did gymnastics.
I don't care about the money as much as Evan does, so you can spend it all.
Not that much money.
I only do for running backs because you do not
We
pay
can
running
burn
backs.
it all to the ground. I don't care how Brad spends it as long as he spends it.
Well,
I
Six
trust
Picks only
him.
getting just under 5.5. Sorry, got sidetracked. Had to look it up.
Swift. That's tough. I still think back to the first time I saw Tyson Walker on campus when he came dancing into the bar we were at. I'm like, that guy's going to be the point guard for this team. And look at him now. He's an absolute dog and totally shifts the balance in title odds for next year.
And not a point guard.
That's so semantics.
The guy you want to have the ball in their hands at the end.
He
of the game.
can run the offense. He is asked to do that at times. So he
won't. I don't think he'll be asked much to do that next.
He's a scoring guard. Fine.
Yes, I think he'll
Semantics.
be solely scoring guard next year. He won't need to be dribbling up the floor ever.
Think he's going to be like total confidence next year or still have games where he's afraid to shoot?
I'm sure he'll still have the games where he doesn't shoot for 6 minutes.
I think like after he saw the reaction, how much his fan base loves him and he has the palm of his hands, he's going to just be the guy. It might rub people the wrong way too, but he's going to be the guy.
I don't think so. I don't know. He did have confidence issue his first year, so if he goes cold, maybe I think he's gotten over it. He'll be fine.
Shout out to listener Connor. Called a shot. People called him crazy. Alex called him crazy. Said that's not going to happen. He didn't say it's not going to happen. He said that's
not true.
not what you
At
can
all.
infer. But
I just
Connor
said
was
you
right.
can't predict based on his body language at senior day, but everyone thought he was coming
You
back.
can, and Connor did, and he was right. So good for him. Malik Hall also came back. I don't want to brush over that, but I don't think it's nearly as exciting as Tyson Walker.
I'm happy.
It definitely matters.
Health is a question.
My favorite.
I've
He
seen
had
a lot
surgery
of
last week.
the fan base. You're lying to yourself if you haven't cursed his name and also loved him at different times throughout his career. He
Only
knows
love
that.
over here.
He
Only
knows
love.
that as well.
Only love. Only love.
I mean, this
He
is
was
like
our best player the first month of the season.
he could
Only
have a
love.
Joey moment where he does a great year and people cheer his name and he cries like Joey did. Like that could happen. But they've kind of had similar arcs where people have been very down on them and also have loved them at points. But
Good depth.
it helps. A lot of depth. Could be an interesting situation where there's a guy behind him that should probably play, but maybe Booker plays center now, which would be sweet for you guys. I think he probably should. I think Booker should probably play center. Sorry,
I think
Sissoko.
Booker's got to gain 30
I love
pounds in
you,
the
Sissoko.
offseason.
I think the Big Ten is going to change away from the big guys.
Zach
They need
Edey is
to.
back, dude.
Yeah, because otherwise he'd be playing in China.
We can't let Zach Edey win. the
Nothing
Big
wrong
Ten
with that,
again.
Evan.
Can't do it.
That's why Tyson's back.
Speaking of that, the ceiling and early expectations for this team. I need to hear it from you guys before I say what I want to say.
Win the Big Ten.
Okay. Regular season.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
I was going to ask a question. I'm going to follow up more, Alex.
What's our draw? He's going to say. He's thinking
Correct.
about the draw.
It is all
right?
about the draw. But you
Fuck the
have to
draw.
get to the second
It's Final
weekend.
Four. Final
Gotta get
Four
to the second
bust.
weekend and then
It's actually
obviously-
it's title game or bust.
no. Other teams will play out. You'll see how other freshmen play transfers.
Big
Alex?
Ten or bust.
I see Big Ten regular
Big
season.
Ten regular
championship.
season or
Get
bust.
to the second weekend. Play for a
Final
chance to go to
Four
the
or
Final Four in
bust.
Phoenix.
All right. That made it easy because I wrote down regular season champions and Final Four or bust. So I just combined them.
That's what I just said.
I don't know if you're combining or saying one or the other, but yeah, it has to
No,
be
both. It has to be both.
I guess if you don't win the regular season, then you win the Big Ten tournament and go to the Final Four, it'll still feel sweet. But regular season's a lot harder to do. And the odds bear it out. I looked on FanDuel, early odds. You got UConn as number 1 with plus 1,100. You got Duke at plus 1,300, and you have Kentucky, Houston, MSU all tied at plus 1,500. So you're tied for third with best national title odds. Does it feel uncomfortable? Does it feel good?
We've been in this situation, Grant.
A lot of pressure. I like being the underdog role.
I knew Evan would be like, I don't want to be.
Evan
this guy.
hates expectations, but it's part of being a good program.
Remember when Evan unranked Michigan State football?
In
after they
football,
lost to Purdue?
every week.
No,
every
it was
week
after
he
they
was
lost
saying
to
that we should
Purdue.
be ranked.
He kicked them out of the top 25 or whatever it was. Or top 10.
Absurd. So absurd.
Other side, other school, Caleb Love is headed to
Sucks.
Michigan. Alex, you dislike him. Get your stats.
I'm not
off.
doing this for the third
Give your
time.
stats. Just give your stats.
I'm not doing this for the third time.
No,
Team
you
high averaged 16.7 points last year.
He's the most inefficient basketball player in the country. He shot 32% from the field, not from three. He shot 29% from three, and he shot 16 times a game and scored 16 a game on 16 shots. Doesn't pass the ball. He turns the ball over, and he doesn't play defense.
When there was dysfunction on your team, you're probably not going to pass it to somebody.
And Evan will say, well, he's had a great 6 games. Grant will say, oh, he had a great 6 game run.
Tournament.
Yeah,
yes.
He did. He should have went pro after that because he's had 3 full seasons and a gajillion starts, and he's been inefficient the entire time, other than a 6-game stretch. That's just what he is. And you can be like, oh, Alex, you're lying. No, look it up. It's just, it's 100% a fact.
So he can't get better?
It's hard to imagine he's going to make some big leap now after he's played 90 games and decided
so AJ's not
what
going to
changed.
make a big league either.
AJ's improved every single season, and AJ's a better 3-point shooter than Caleb Love and a more efficient scorer than Caleb Love.
With a new scenery, new coaching staff?
Sure he can.
Oh, but
the ceiling's pretty low, Evan.
Oh, you said you won't. Gotcha. Okay. See where you stand on athletes trying to get better than next year.
He hasn't improved in his 3 years.
I love having Evan in my corner for this Michigan guy.
It's stunning to just watch everyone blinded because he had such a sweet tournament. Evan, he's been on that roster for 3 seasons, a roster that went to the title game.
Caleb Love.
And his stats are his stats.
Yes.
Could make Evan a Michigan fan. And I'm here
his
for
stats are his stats. You can't argue them.
I have a stat. This is the only stat I wrote down.
Because you can't write the other ones down.
It's a deep one. It's off the wall kind of efficiency. The last time his team made the tournament, they made the title game. That's a stat.
That's a stat.
That is a stat.
Facts.
No, it's
he
not
ended
a
Coach
stat.
K's career. He ended Coach K's career. That's a stat.
That's a
he
stat.
should have went to the NBA after that game.
That's also
because that was his highest draft stock.
He could have. It's such a tough thing because you're not wrong, Alice. I'm not going to sit here and tell you your stats are wrong because they're facts. You can't argue facts. Your facts are facts. He's inefficient. I just think, and you might agree with it. I think they're a desperate basketball team. I think they didn't have to make this move, but I don't dislike it because they didn't have a lot of talent. And people are gonna. I'm gonna give Ant Wright credit because he put it in my brain and got me thinking about different guards. He is the most explosive, athletic potential for talent point guard they've had since Trey Burke on the team. Like, you see the guy with the ball in his hand, and you're like, wow, that guy's a baller. The way he gets to the rim, the way he can step back on people. Will that make him a good college basketball player at Michigan? I have no idea. But the potential, which is a dirty little word, is what captivates you about this guy. It's like the potential is there. Like, can Juwan be more of a disciplinarian than UNC's coach name is Hubert Davis? That's his name, right?
Hubert Davis, yeah.
Yeah.
1 year of Roy Williams, 2 years of Hubert Davis.
Okay. It's tough. It's tough.
No one's denying that he can fill it up and drop 40 and be incredible. Everyone's seen it. He did it for a tournament run.
Yeah.
It's just, on a random night in January in Minnesota when he goes 2 for 26 and you lose by 10. Like, that's what you're going to get with him. Or he's going to drop 40 at the Breslin Center and beat Michigan State. That's just like what he's going to do.
Yeah, I think hitting the title game like the night after.
So you say it's common for athletes to have up and downs throughout the season?
Not even remotely on the level that he does. He's too inefficient. Too inefficient.
The lows are jarring, but the highs are just so, like, they just blind you.
He has the widest range of like any player.
Still can't get better this upcoming season on his shooting.
Sure, he could. He could get better. I just don't know how he's going to go into a little lesser talented team than he just left and not do the exact same thing. Like, he went into a situation where it's going to be all about him again. With less talent.
It was not about Armando Bacot.
I mean, sure, yeah, they had better guys around him that he's going to have at Michigan, but that is even more worrisome because that means he's just going to shoot even more.
It's all in cards, all in.
Alex. That doesn't mean he's actually going to shoot more.
No, but I'm not going to just sit here and act like Juwan knows what he's doing. I can't act like he knows what he's doing.
It's an all-in moment for Coach Howard. Chips are on the table. If he
could work.
If he gets this kid to turn around, like, he's going to win a lot of good praise about coaching and how to manage kids.
He'll buy himself
college.
quite a few years if he makes Caleb Love like All-American Player of the Year level type of player.
Hey, all
Which he
I'm saying is
has
Michigan
the
has a
capability
star.
to be.
Michigan has a star on their team, and it's good for them.
Yeah,
It's
he
good
that
for
was my
Michigan
whole
because they have
argument.
nothing.
That
Yeah,
was my argument.
he could be a
He's not
Bradley
a star,
Beal.
though.
He could be a James
Yes, he
Harden
is.
type guy, or he could be, a higher level. He could be a John
Is
Morant.
Hunter
He's a-
Dickinson a star, Evan?
He's a star for. Yes, Hunter Dickinson is unfortunately a star just because of the name, and everybody in America knows who he is.
So if
For
you
college
know who they
basketball.
are and everyone knows who they are, they're auto star.
He's a polarized figure that everybody talks
You
about.
said
national
Marquise
media
Noel
talks
sucked,
about.
and you say Caleb Love is a star.
Well, I hate Noel because Caleb Love never hurt me.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
he
a
will
tough
this
question,
year,
Alex.
and then you'll hate him.
Caleb Love has a better NBA future than Noel does.
Irrelevant, really, in the game of college basketball.
Oh, so you're telling me that it's irrelevant about NBA projection? So you're telling me Caleb Love should have left for the NBA?
I'm just saying comparing
So that
how they're going
argument's
to play
irrelevant.
in college doesn't matter if they can go to the NBA or not. Tyson Walker is better than 95% of college basketball players, and he's not going to play in the NBA.
Come on, Baldwin, sadly. Cassius. He did for a
Cassius,
little bit. Did for a little
player
bit.
of the year.
Do
Denzel,
you guys,
not really much
Evan,
of
do
an
you
NBA
think
player.
Caleb Love's the best guard in the Big Ten? There was a Michigan account
Oh
that tweeted
my
that.
fucking God.
No.
I'm not gonna say his name. I don't want to give him any bad pub, but it was hilarious. It caused it just caused arguments. For the record, I disavow that tweet. He is not. He could be though. Like that's the thing about the kid. If he
Sure. Yes. It's just hard to think that this potential is going to now blossom
Yeah,
91 games later.
it's not like Michigan's been the cleanest run program during these 3 years.
No,
They've had a lot of
no.
drama.
He's not
So-
going to a tight-knit program where he's going to get his head on straight.
My last Michigan thing is that I still keep seeing people saying that with these additions we can lure Hunter back. Please stop. Nobody wants Hunter Dickinson back in Michigan. We are better off without Hunter Dickinson. I cannot be more clear about that. I would rather go 0-20, 0-30 without Hunter Dickinson than go 15-15 and miss the tournament with Hunter Dickinson.
Be wild when he goes to Kansas, of all places.
I think it makes sense. Big school. They've
Going,
always
going to a place that's going to screw his head on tight, that might work for him.
Kansas screws your
They're
head on
not
tight.
really run correctly over there. either,
Kansas-
Alex.
Bill
Well,
Self
they
will let
run
him
it
do
well
what he
enough to win a
wants.
title.
Yeah,
They got
But
class
they're not-
guys.
I don't think anyone's like Bill
One
Self
of
is a
their players
disciplinarian.
attempted to beat another player with
That
a
was like
stool
10
that
years
was
ago.
full-size.
It was pretty
10
recent.
years ago.
That was
No,
not
that was
10
pretty
years
recent.
ago.
That was like 2018,
5
maybe.
plus.
2019, 2018.
Listen,
But-
everyone's got a
but,
bad
like,
apple.
You think that was in 2013?
It felt like
you
a
think
long
we were
time
still in
ago.
high school when we were
No, that
there?
was like high def television.
We were in college, probably.
They're not
2016.
They're better, obviously, but they're not like disciplinarian coach. It's not like going to Tony Bennett in Virginia. It's
Oh,
like
that would never work. Of all
It's
the
not gonna-
places, though, I
it's
just
not
thought
gonna
Kansas
work
would be a
anywhere.
weird fit for him. It
I
might.
don't think any of the blue bloods make sense. Really,
Alex, this happened in 2020,
During COVID?
stuff out
right before COVID.
right before.
Oh, that makes sense because the COVID caused a lot of people to forget how time worked.
And then last thing is just keep an eye on the Butler Bulldogs. They're back, so they
Pierre
are making
Brooks
moves.
is a
Pierre
Butler
Brooks.
Bulldog.
I have the hype video done. It will be dropping maybe tomorrow morning, maybe tonight.
My joke
You
turned into a
literally said
reality.
This was 10 years ago, and it happened 3 years ago.
Yeah, listen, Evan, I moved on.
Ass take.
That's
I don't
a bad
think
take.
Kansas is a
Clown.
bad program.
For a guy that
I
prides
think they're
himself
a
on
good
memory.
program. Yeah,
So
that's
a
tough.
coach that has been suspended multiple times for sanctioned violations isn't.
And
Ultimately,
where's
all I
the
look
toupee?
at is, did they win a national championship last year?
Get
Yes.
FBI investigated into your program?
All right. Well, that is the show. Hope everyone has a good week. I guess enjoy NBA playoffs. Oh, quickly, I think I know your guys' team. Evan, you gotta be Bucks again. I
Yep.
imagine.
Giannis.
Alex, you are for sure the Suns because you like Ishbia and Chris Paul. And
It's mainly Chris Paul.
and Ishbia, you love Ishbia.
Well, I mean, I don't
I love
love
saying
him,
he
but
graduated from Michigan State.
I just love
Yeah,
that he's ours and we can claim him.
I was looking at the standings. I don't really see any team that catches my eye. I decided I'm just going to be a big fan of any team that faces the Lakers. So
Yes.
that is
I can get
just-
behind that.
I will be rooting for the Lakers in the sense that I just want to see Grant squirm. That's it. That's all.
That's
I want.
disingenuous
them
because
get
you're not a
swept in the
LeBron
first
guy
round.
anymore. So you should come to my side.
I'm still rooting for the Suns over the Lakers if they play. So I had to do that last time too.
And they knocked him out. It was great. Can't wait to take Snapchat videos of LeBron complaining. Probably right after this. Okay.
Are they playing right now?
Yeah, playing tonight. But if they lose, they're still in it.
There's 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're winning 10-9.
All right. Well, everyone enjoy your night. Have a good week. Hope you enjoy this. And cheers to episode 116.
Cheers.
Cheers.